Day 16, the final day of the UK vlog. Today's only gonna have one little thing. Going over to Chatham and gonna go visit Buckmore Park, place where F1 greats like Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, Lando Norris all cut their teeth. It's not gonna be much going on in this vlog, so I probably might just lump it in with my journey home, but man, I don't want my time in this country to end. I'm having so much fun around here. Probably don't need to do the regular intro that I've been doing this whole time. Y'all probably know it already, but anyway, let's just take you through my final hours here in Bath and then over to Buckmore Park and then to the airport. I will say also that I chose to, not really party too much last night because I wanted to have a chance of doing decently at that go-karting place. I've been drinking a lot of pints and eating a lot of not so healthy food, but I have been walking a lot. I've been using my legs a lot, so hopefully all that'll even out. I'm probably gonna suck. So I also decided against going to Silverstone today because my booking was so early in the morning and I felt my energy just kind of going away, and I really wanted my energy to go towards, Buckmore Park. Also had the task of earlier today finding Monster Munch for my mom. I don't know where she found it, but she likes it, so I've got that in my rucksack along with Nana's Maryland cookies, Daniel's pint glass, Holly's chocolate, and Alexander's Paddington bear. That's all in here, and I basically decided, what do I need to travel with? What do I not need to travel with? Some clothes I don't care about are now in a garbage can somewhere here in Bath, along with a few toiletries. Traveling light now. My back is finally relieved. That in addition to the Thai massage I got in Manchester at Affleck's. Not that kind. Don't get started with me. And also the spa bath that I went to. That's some good self-care. Plus all the cheap pints at Weatherspoons. UK, you've turned me on to self-care. The many things I love about this country. There's the Starbucks right there. But they sell cider. This is amazing. Only one though. We are doing some go-karting later. Not gonna get wasted before that. They're not gonna let me do it.
Usually during this time I dub over and tell you what I was thinking during that time, but I've realized that I really haven't done that for any train clips throughout this entire series. So finally I'm gonna let the train clips speak for themselves. Plus it's a little early to get sentimental in the video, huh?
Now, I have gone through like 4 changes of trains. Just trying to keep up all of them. It's just making my mind just go places. But anyway, get an Uber and head over to Buckmore Park. So obviously, I am super early right now, and I am just waiting for my turn. It is, what time is it now? 4:42. I have an hour until I'm supposed to meet up for the safety meeting, which that's another stark difference between US and UK karting tracks. Especially I've been places like Trackhouse Motorplex and Mooresville, North Carolina, and a couple other places. The safety meeting is probably a lot longer, and there's a longer waiver you gotta sign in order to come do these karts. So that's another big difference. But hey, if this place is good enough for people like Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, and Lando Norris, it's good enough for me. Unfortunately, I didn't have any NASCAR stuff to contrast with all the people in F1 get-ups right now. Plus, that Paperboy hat definitely made me stick out like a sore thumb. Thanks for the heads up, guys. Oh my god. I'm so glad I didn't film that, because I got my ass kicked. About 5 minutes into a 30-minute session, bunch of show-offs. I couldn't do it. My middle body was just tensing up. I'm too old and fat to be doing this. Karting is a young man's sport and young woman's sport. I saw a lot of females in there doing the same thing. That's pretty cool. Too many pints, too much Greg's. I couldn't do it. The perfect activity to do, by the way, before you get on a plane to go back to the United States. I want to say Buckmore Park, y'all are a much more thorough and more high-class facility than other American professional karting places. You know, got an actual snack bar that works, and you're more thorough with the pre-race warnings, and there's actual systems, and you know, actual professional racing. So A+ on all that.
I present to you the results of this race to show you who won and how badly I did. The fact that I came 11th out of 18 karts absolutely boggles my mind. How did my fat ass achieve that? One thing's for certain, I'm glad I chose reaction YouTuber, travel vlogger, food reviewer, and independent musician as careers over being a race car driver.
Now, I had a little time to kill before my train takes off, so I went down to the local Weatherspoons and got me a pint. And first of all, they checked my ID for the first time this entire trip. I'm like, wow, it takes me coming to Chatham to get ID'd? Okay. And second of all, they're like, oh, you're American. Yeah, well, what are you doing here? Like, nobody comes to this shithole. His words, not mine. And I said, yeah, the only reason I came here is because Buckmore Park is like right down the road. And yeah, it reminds me a lot of Baltimore. I don't know if they actually knew what I was talking about, but I'll let them figure it out. Y'all let me know. Is Chatham like that? Train from Tottenham to Stansted Airport. Usually other American React YouTubers would take this moment to share their final thoughts and kind of sign off on their adventure, but if you'll allow me just a little bit of time to get through customs and to the terminal, I think I know a better place to end this. Just bear with me on this one.
I am fully regretting that decision because my body was starting to betray me big time, and I made the rookie mistake of getting to the airport way too early. I probably could have gotten a hotel at this point just to recover for a little bit, but rookie mistake, didn't do that. Here's the aftermath of my terrible decision.
All right, it's 10:40 p.m., so 12 hours before the flight even boards. So rookie travel mistake of trying to get there early, and the person checking my passport and my boarding pass said, dude, you're way too early. So just gonna walk around Stansted Airport and see what I could find. I know the Weatherspoons is not open until 4 a.m. That was gonna be where I was going to give my final thoughts, but unfortunately not. There it is, Weatherspoons. In May, well, they just announced my gate, so I'm gonna head there, and I guess the UK trip's over. And I don't want to give y'all a final thought right now, simply because I've been sick as a dog ever since I got to the airport. I think it has something to do with the fact that I had about a hay fever, and I did a lot of cardio with that go-karting thing, and the hay fever just kind of all caught up to me, and now I've got a head cold, so my mind is just not in the right place right now to give you a full wrap-up of how I felt about this whole trip. So I'll give that to you a bit later. Enjoy this montage of me getting back.
Whoever I was sitting next to on the Play Airlines to both Iceland and to Baltimore, I sincerely apologize because I was coughing up a lung and sneezing like it was no tomorrow. Also, I'm the dumbass that didn't have enough money to buy another pair of headphones so I could listen to something on Spotify or watch something on Netflix, so I unintentionally raw dogged both of the flights, and I gotta say, not too bad, especially considering I wasted all that money on pints, food, women, and experiences. And the rest I just wasted.
Maryland heat, humidity, the smell of marijuana smoke. I'm home. And no wonder Baltimore public transit system's so shit. The guy pretty much just let me get on because my contactless wasn't working, and I don't know where I'm going. Trying to find my hotel. I think I put the wrong address in, but it's just what you want with a cold, and it's so hot right now. Oh, I miss the UK weather. I never thought I would say that. Officially back in the United States. I'm gonna lay here, clear out my head cold, and then sleep off the jet lag, and then Captain Amtrak tomorrow. I'll lump it all in with the final video. I'm not leaving y'all just yet. Gotta compare US and UK trains, and also UK and US bus systems. Y'all got it so good over there. The card machine didn't even work, and they just let me in. No wonder Maryland state government's so inept. I mean, my ex is part of it, so there you go. But anyway, I may edit that part out. For a job well done, I got myself a pizza and a big old 2-liter of Mountain Dew, and I'm gonna finish it all off. And nobody can say, put in a good 2.5 weeks of work. Although it really didn't feel like work. It's like hanging out with your buddies, you know?
In this next segment, I was extremely tired. I had almost crapped my pants earlier, and I was fuming from the fact that I had to walk and I couldn't use public transportation because it was down at the moment. So I just came back from the UK for 2.5 weeks, and I am starting to really notice some big differences between US and UK, and I'm pretty sure the rest of Europe in terms of public roads, public transit. So I had to get up early this morning in order to catch a commuter train to the main train station in Washington, D.C. to go get my Amtrak. And this is all because I don't get paid until like 11 or 1 p.m. local time. So I'm having to walk all the way from my hotel to commuter train, MARC train here in the D.C. metro area, Maryland and Virginia. I'm just noticing how bad the buses are. There's no real commuter train from city to city. It's really sad. Fact is, our government won't do anything about it because both political parties are in with the car industry, which keeps it so that you pretty much still have to drive in this country. I really like the fact that the UK was very walkable. The trains were reliable. The buses were reliable as well. But the only national rail service we have in the US is Amtrak, and that can be hit or miss because all the rail lines are owned by the freight train companies, and the freight train companies have priority. If there's a Union Pacific or a Norfolk Southern train coming and an Amtrak train coming, freight train gets the priority, so the Amtrak has to pull over and wait for that freight line to pass. Not like that in other countries where they actually give a shit about their people. Who would have thought that making something good for everybody was a good thing? That's why our country is the only one that doesn't really have a nationalized healthcare service, because it's socialism, individual freedom. I'll give credit where credit is due. This BWI trail is very nice. Good on you, state of Maryland, for doing that. But things like this are few and far between. Or maybe I just haven't seen them in big cities because I live in a very rural area. You pretty much have to drive. It's not negotiable. Maybe I'm just being a little too quick to judge. Maybe there are cities that are actually making an effort to make it for people who don't own cars, make life a little bit easier. So let me know. Am I overreacting here?
04, en route to Buckmore with intermediate stops. Passengers should proceed to track 1. Thank you for...
I'll tell you, there's one thing I am really missing at train stations in the US that they have in the UK. Hubs. The fact that there's like a Weatherspoons at every single train station in the UK, I really like that, especially if you had a train cancellation. You can just pop into Weatherspoons. You don't even have to open up a tab. You just tap your card, you got a pint in your hand, and it's quite cheap. This is a Nuno pizzeria, and I mean, you get good food, and there is a bar in there, but it's 8 in the morning, and obviously it's not open. But then again, Weatherspoons don't open until 9, so there's that as well. I'm just saying I really miss that. That's really cool. Also adds to the fact that there's not as many trains that run to and from where you need to go because it's such a big country and our rail system sucks compared to other countries. For instance, I've got the one train Amtrak going from Union Station to Greensboro. If I miss that, I'm shit out of luck, and I gotta wait till the next day. That's what I need. The 79 Carolinian to Charlotte, delayed. And y'all say that delays with trains with y'all is bad. It's even worse here in this country. My train's delayed back to Greensboro, and they're not giving me an update as to when it's going to get here, which is really annoying, especially since I've spent 2.5 weeks in a place that trains are amazing, and they'll give you a reason why it was delayed, and it's very easy to get your money back. Usually you can get the next train that is going to where you're going. That would be nice, but there's not as many trains that go through the states. especially since your only option really for passenger trains is Amtrak. I'm just waiting around, trying to see if I have time to go get a pint. But you won't believe who I ran into. I ran into my cousin Lauren and my great uncle Billy, who are also exploring DC at that time, so shout out to them. What are the odds? Okay, update, that was only delayed by 8 minutes. Made it seem like it was gonna be a lot longer, but hey, considering it's Amtrak, that's not too bad. So, we leaving. We gonna get back to North Carolina tonight.
Yeah, so my plan to film on that train was definitely thwarted by the fact that there was someone next to me. So here's a quick rundown on UK trains versus Amtrak, aka the only one. First of all, the seats, which are a hell of a lot bigger, can fit the type of woman that I like. Winky wink. Unfortunately, the trains are a lot louder. There is not as much etiquette on US trains as there are on UK trains. UK trains are nice and quiet, which I really like. For food and drink on US trains, there's a dedicated dining car that you have to get up out of your seat and go to if you want food and drink. But there's plenty of hot food and cold food, and hot drinks and cold drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. But I like the fact that the UK has a trolley that comes around and all that goodness can come to you instead of you having to go to it. Like I said earlier, US trains have a more tendency to be delayed than UK trains, and it's a lot harder to get your money back if the train is delayed or canceled. Whereas the UK, 15 minutes delayed and you can get your money back, and you could get on the next train that's going to where you need to go. Helps that there's actually more trains that run on the same route during a day in the UK than there are in the US. Most of the time, there's only 1 or 2 trains that run a certain route during a day. The exception, I think, is the Washington, D.C. to Boston corridor. There you go, some useful information right as we wrap up this entire UK vlog journey. The long story short about the rest of the trip, we got to Greensboro around 8:30 p.m. Nana picked me up around 9. We went to Cookout, got us some all-the-way hot dogs and some milkshakes to help me feel back at home, and I slept for multiple hours before even looking at any of this footage. But my heart was full, and I have memories that will last a lifetime and a body of work that is a culmination of 3.5 years of reacting to British content and learning about a culture that never takes itself too seriously and will have your back if you have their back. Through this trip, I've made lifelong friends and checked off major bucket list items, cultivated from both my own life experience as a teenager and through the 3.5 years of reacting to British content with my best friend, who, it has to be said, I love you, bro. Thanks for having my back throughout this whole thing. Thanks for giving me your blessing to go do this UK trip on by myself. We'll get you over there one day. I can't imagine anybody else I'd want to do this crazy journey with. With all that in mind, and with the travel bug officially caught, I just got one more little thing to say that I recorded at the airport before we took off.
UK, thank you so much for being such a great host. I've done a lot. Met a lot of great people, took some things off my bucket list, drank a lot of pints, ate a lot of great food, and just overcame a lot of fears. I mean, y'all remember I said, some of y'all misconstrued what I said about I don't want to meet up with people. I did, but I was scared. I'm not anymore. In fact, I'm gonna leave y'all with the words of Harry Potter. I'm not going home. Not really.